Hi. Um, we're going into Nasty's world. We've completed, uh, we've completed all the gem collection we need for the run. Now we just basically need to beat Nasty Gnorc. And basically, there's a lot of different things that you can do, once you get here. Um, I have a vortex run pulled up right now. Um, so I'm gonna show you, uh, what it will look like if you are doing Gnorc Cove. Basically, let me explain your decision here. Um, so if you are doing Gnorc Cove, you're gonna be getting this dragon and then going into the portal over here. See this rat right here? This rat, we can actually proxy off of it. It's a fairly advanced trick. Um, and it's a lot better than it used to be. Luckily, it is more down to execution now. But it's still pretty hard. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend starting with this. You can mess with it, or if you really want to, you can go for it. Um, but basically that's gonna be the fastest thing, is what we call long back rat, and I'll put a tutorial for that Laura made. Um, I'll put that in the description as well as in the playlist for the tutorial. So if you want to have a look at that, have a look at that. But I'm going to show you, if you're not doing that trick, which there are other tricks technically that can get us straight into Nasty Narc from here, but this one is by far the most viable and really the only one you should really concern yourself with. Um, but yeah, so I'll just mention that exists. But for now, we're going to ignore that. We're going to say that we're going in North Cove. We're gonna go into this dragon right away. You actually want to touch it a little bit to the left here. Out of this dragon, you want to either hold left a little bit and then do a charging jump, or you want to jump charge left. You don't want to just charging jump while holding left, because if you use charging jump while holding left, you're going to take more of a curved angle into the portal, and it's actually close to a half second slower, I believe. So that's a little piece of optimization there that's pretty free. Anyway, we're going right into Cove. Here, charging jump. You can just charging jump it if you want to make it super safe. Do the glide buffer or throw in a little glide even if you want to. Here, you can push this as much as you want. I like to stay on the right so you don't, if you go on the right, or like up next to this wall, it seems like you don't have to go as high over this barrel. Either way, you want to avoid the barrel and then get around to this guy, get like around this corner of this guy. You don't technically have to flame him. I just got in the habit of doing so because I thought you had to at the beginning, and it doesn't actually lose any time to flame while you're in the air. So I kind of just still do it, but uh, just keep in mind you don't have to. So just around the corner, like keep in mind how tight you're taking that corner, because you don't want to come around the corner and bonk into this. Once again, take this corner tight. Well, I'll point out that you can technically take a slightly better line here if you really optimize it. If you want to go here, because we're going to be jumping back up onto this, you can actually go like under this guy and jump here and do here. It's a like small optimization that does increase the difficulty, but keep in mind that you can do that if you want to push the movement. I like to come up over here so that I can kind of like round myself, see how I'm like keeping my momentum, kind of like keeping my flow, instead of having to, like, where if you go here, you kind of have to stop and turn around and then make the jump with little momentum, which you can do, but I just find it more comfortable to do this, and it's minimal time loss. So through here, get a good jump, full hop out with the momentum. In here with a charge glide, charge on. Now, once again, you can optimize this as much as you want. If you want to play it safer and go around like this, you can, but you can obviously charge and jump over that gap. Now we're gonna do a trick here. Uh, keep in mind this isn't the worst trick in the world. Um, it's pretty simple once you kind of get the hang of it, but it can take a bit to figure out the timing. Um, but basically what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to charge up to him and get that full hop out, and then glide. See exactly when I glide here. Gliding there. That's where I press glide. Right there. Okay? So right when he's about to lift his barrel. Make sure you get that X press out at around that timing. Now, you can make this trick a little simpler. It does lose more time, but I'll just say keep in mind like I'm kind of starting left here and then coming to the right, so I'm getting rightward momentum because I'm landing over here. This is where I'm landing. Now this spot can be finicky to land on, both because you kind of have to feel out by practice exactly where you can land here. And you want to not move. Or you either want to like full stop here. If you're a beginner, that's probably what you want to do, is full stop and then jump and hold forward and charge glide. Because if you are moving forward when you jump here and try to charge glide, it will drop your input and you'll just charge down into the goo. It's really weird because this scenery isn't really like supposed to be stood on. It basically actually registers Spyro's like roll bounce state basically when you jump off of it, which you can't you can't charge glide out of that. So basically it's a little weird. And I guess if you just try to go as fast as possible here when you're first starting, you'll kind of see what I mean. But you'll see I jump as soon as I land to avoid that. If you do just jump like the frame that you land, you're good. But if your timing's not perfect, then it'll drop your input, and you're likely only on green sparks here. If you're coming from Dreamweavers, if you've done everything else in the any percent route correctly and not died or anything, and you will die. If you're like gold sparks and you do that, you can sometimes make it over here with green sparks and then like take a hit here and get onto here and get out with no sparks. But if you're anything but gold sparks, you'll probably die if you drop your input there. And it can be finicky of where to land here also, but you kind of see I want to aim for the right of this point. It's kind of like, see this like light shaded area right here? That's where you want to land, this light shaded area. Okay. I mentioned there's an easier way if you want to play this level safer. Because you really don't want to run all the way through this level. It loses a lot of time. This is a long, long level to run all the way around the long way. This over here, above a certain point, is actually standable. And it's also helpful because you don't have to take this from the side as much. You can kind of run more straight into him, like run straight into him and then do the glide, and then only have to worry about just like, you know, holding forward basically, instead of worrying about like making a glide to the right here where you can't even see where you're going to land as you're being launched up. But yeah, see this area up here? A lot of this is standable. I'm not sure exactly where the cutoff is, but it's probably somewhere around like above kind of this or so. If you get that, you're going to want to charge up, and there's like a gap. It's like a gap up here that you can just jump and glide to the vortex to. I guess I literally didn't even mention why we have to do these levels, which is very silly. Basically we have to get in to beat Nasty's World casually. We have to get to the vortex in both in both Gnorc Cove, which is this level, and Twilight Harbor, as well as free the dragon in the homeworld. Basically, freeing the dragon in the homeworld and getting this vortex in the level that we're in opens Twilight Harbor, and then getting into the Twilight Harbor vortex which if you don't know what the vortex is, it's like the end of level return home like little whirlwind thing that every level has. Um, but yeah, then once you get into the Twilight Harbor vortex, uh, the portal to Nasty Gnorc opens, which is the final boss, which is where timing ends for any percent. So that's why we're doing this level. Sorry, I probably should have mentioned that at the start. That kind of like just flew over my head. Sometimes when you're explaining things to new people, you forget um, exactly like what you have to explain if you've lived this game for who knows how many times through. Anyway, easier way is to land over here. And you can charge up here, and there's a gap. And your input, as far as I know, won't drop over here. Also, like you're good to move when you're jumping and stuff. But I'll kind of like explain this better if you are going this way. If you do fully stop, make sure you stop and then jump. And as soon as your X input comes out and you're off the ground, even as you're still going up, you can start holding forward then. But if you're holding forward while you jump, that's going to be where your issue presents itself. So X and then forward, like X and then forward in charge glide, like when you're in the air. Like you can if you have trouble with it, feel free to ask me or the Spyro Discord or anything. But as long as you land, jump, and then forward, not at the same time. I just really want to emphasize that because a lot of people struggle with wondering exactly what's going wrong here. Anyway, once you do that, obviously, it's just a charge glide here. And you can be pretty low, so like, even if it looks like you're not gonna make it, like, kind of toy with pushing it sometimes and see exactly the low ones that you can make it. But worst case scenario, if you did mess up and aren't actually too low, as long as you have a sparks, you can just land right here and then jump up. And you will be sparksless at that point, but you'll at least not die and you won't lose a lot of time. Anyway, at that point, yeah, we're just getting into the portal, and you always want to charge into this whirlwind. This one like actually wasn't ideal because it was kind of in the bottom. You can be either a little higher or you can actually be a little lower and get like a little like magic stair off of this little vortex arm basically, and kind of land more into the upwards into the portal and get some more upwards momentum. But this one happened to be kind of in the middle of those two things, so it did kind of get stuck in the bottom of the whirlwind for a second. But we're talking about, fractions of a second here. Anyway, that's gonna be the end of Gnorc Cove, and I think I'm just gonna split it into another video. Like I said, I'll link Rat Proxy, the trick we do with this little guy. I'll link Laura's tutorial and include it in the playlist, and then I think I'll make a separate video for a trick called Tooth Roll, which is a some people find it harder than Rat actually, but I find it easier. Basically you do that trick after you complete Nasty, or after you complete Gnorc Cove, because you need this dragon head open, which it's not open until, like I said, after you free that dragon and you go in that vortex that we just went in. That's what opens this head. So yeah, I will link the Rat Proxy tutorial, and then I will also go ahead and start working on both Twilight Harbor and link a multiple tooth roll tutorials actually, because there's a couple ways to do this trick, and different people find different ways of success with it. So I'll include a few tutorials of that. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna call the video here, and I will see you in the next one.